Good evening and welcome to News Night. Tonight it is ugly, disgusting, and we'll deal with you. Words of sister of former President John Evans Atta Mills as the family accuses dismissed NDC member Koku Anyidoho of disrupting the 12th memorial service of the late president.
Whatever that you want to do, you have to consult the family, and we have to give you our approval because you have the money to go and do everything you want. My brother preached Asumdwe, but some of us, we sometimes have that Asumdwe.
We have details as chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, says the day of accountability for persons pretending to be celebrating Atta Mills' legacy is near.
Just to assure you that next year, this celebration will be massive. That will be the day of accountability for the pretenders. The day is fast coming.
We have details plus here from the NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama, who says the values the former president stood for is missing from the current governance process. Also tonight, minority and majority leadership clash over presidential debate controversy. We hear from majority leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who is daring NDC MPs to advise John Mahama to face off with Dr. Baumia in a debate.
It is important that your MPs should not just follow your flag bearer. They should encourage your flag bearer to make himself available for a debate with Dr. Baumia. So the vice president can only debate Honorable Adongo. He should debate Honorable Adongo. A driver mate cannot debate an experienced driver.
We have details from all the controversy in Parliament. Also, local miners of Atta Lagoon Association rejects Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee's decision not to allow for renegotiation of Electrochem's mining lease to compel the company to release portions of the lagoon to the indigents. We have detailed report of the Energy Committee's meeting, which exonerates the company.
In business, Parliament's budget committee to help check budget overruns this year as concerns grow over election-related spending affecting current economic recovery.
And in sports drama at the Olympic Games as Morocco claims 2-1 victory over Argentina after controversial review 2 hours after the match supposedly ended in a 2-2 draw.
And we'll take you into the election headquarters tonight. An NPP running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, has kick-started his campaign from the Greater Accra region. He asserts that his nickname Napo, used by both old and young, points to his humility.
I started being called Napo from the age of 4 because I was called Napo. And we couldn't say it, my cousins couldn't say it, so we became Napo, 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 Napo. Even when God blesses me, don't have His Excellency, I'll still be Napo.
And the fight against illegal mining conversation reignited as GJ Journalist of the Year and multimedia groups Erastus Asare Donko expresses renewed concerns about the lack of political will to fight the canker.
Evidence point to the fact that there are politically exposed people within government, influential people in society engaged in the illegal mining business.
And family members of former President John Evans Atta Mills are vowing to deal with dismissed NDC member Koku Anyidoho. And the sounds you hear in there are sounds of the confusion that erupted when the two sides clashed today at the Asumdwe Park. There was disagreement at the 12th anniversary laying ceremony at the park after an event organized by the founder of the Atta Mills Institute, Koku Anyidoho, ran over its scheduled time, delaying the second event at the same venue organized by the NDC and the JEA Mills Memorial Heritage.
Well, some persons who describe themselves as family members of the late Atta Mills were unhappy after they were asked by security personnel to leave. Sister of John Evans Atta Mills, Mercy Araba Kwashi, says they would deal with Koku Anyidoho and that the aggrieved group are not family members of the late Atta Mills.
We don't know them from anywhere. And they were here. He has schooled them, telling them that the rest of us, we are paternal brothers and sisters, and they are the real Atta Mills family. It was so disgusting to find an 80-year-old woman pouring libation and hitting her tummy, saying that Fifi Mama won. And I was wondering if she gave birth as a baby. And now, I want to make it clear to everyone that Koku has stepped on the wrong foot. By tampering with our brother's grave without our knowledge, that is totally unacceptable.
Well, we also heard today from the president's brother, Samuel Atta Mills. He says Koku Anyidoho busting individuals he labeled as fake family members and instructed them to stay put, preventing the NDC and the JEA Mills Memorial Heritage from starting his program on time.
What an irony. You are not related to this man. No, anybody could come here and celebrate him. He's for the country. But why would you want to clash with us? And then, as a coward as he is, he ran away and then left the people over here. Now the military was here. The military was here to try and keep some peace. And what did he do? He called somebody who had power somewhere to tell the military that they were intimidating them. We didn't intimidate anybody. But when persuasion fails, force is applied. It is true we are at Asuntre Park. But when we talk to you and you don't understand, sometimes a little bit of encouragement will make you move. So as a coward as he is, he ran away and left his people, the fake family over here. So that's what happened. It wasn't anything serious. It was just a friendly, interaction. That was it. We are here. We are setting up. And we are going to have the proper function. If Koku wants a father, his real father is around. He could go there. If he wants a job, why doesn't he get a real job instead of benefiting off somebody's family name? So that was what happened.
So you're saying that those claiming to be the family members are not the family members?
Those are not family members. Now they are claiming all kinds of things. That Prof has a different mother. They should look. This is the funny part. They brought a lady over here this week who is supposed to be Prof's mother. This woman is 80 years old, and if Prof had been alive, he would have been 80 years old. So his mother is 80 years old, and he is 80 years old. So does it mean that he and his mother were twins? My goodness.
Well, my colleague Master Baba saw it all unfold. He joins me in the studio. At what point did they clash?
Well, that was just when the second event was about to take place, and some security personnel started backing orders at the group that took part in the first event to leave and make way for the second event to commence. That was the point when they said they were not going to leave and that they had not finished with the program that they attended. About 150 of them came in 4 Sprinter buses, and they were all staying put and said they were not moving until they lay some wreath and did other things that they had come there to do. So at that point, it was difficult for the second group to set up and start a function. So just when the media team were arriving, specially invited guests were also arriving on the ground. That was the point that they had to start setting up their lineary speakers, their canopies, their chairs, and all of that. So a lot of people who came for the NDC and the JEA Memorial Heritage event actually saw the setting up of the canopies, the lineary speakers, everything. Usually, that would have happened before, the main event, starting today.
And of course, John Mama was there.
Yes.
The national chairman of the NDC himself was there.
Yes.
And he has something to say about this.
Yes. So John Mahama's speech was silent on the incident. In fact, he was not present when it happened. But some of the party stalwarts were there. I saw the Member of Parliament for the Dodio constituency, Neelanti Vanderpool. He was part of the people who calmed tensions and had meetings with the grief group, spent about 30 minutes having interactions with them before they left the premises. But Johnson Asiedu Nketia has been speaking directly to the issue. He says there are some people who are pretending to be celebrating the legacy of Professor John Evans Atta Mills. He says next year's event is going to be massive and that the pretenders will be made to account.
Let us remember Professor Mills as a man of peace and a unifier. It is unfortunate that after his death, some pretenders would want to do everything by way of remembering him, everything that he never stood for. Because of the speech of Auntie Araba, I don't intend to go further. And just to assure you that next year, this celebration will be massive. And that will be the day of accountability for the pretenders. The day is fast coming.
And that there is Johnson Asiru Nketia, as the national chairman of the NDC, was at the event. We also had Samuel Atta, Mills' brother to the former president. He was also there at the event and joins us right now on the line. Thank you, sir, for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you very much.
Have you had any further clarity on why this happened? And I heard you speaking to my colleagues there, talking about the military intervening at some point. Have you had some clarity on why this happened?
Good evening to your listeners. The unfortunate thing was I put the blame squarely on national security. What they did was they approved for Koku and the rented family to come in the morning, and then NDC and the real family also to come there in the morning. My understanding before I got there was the fake family was to come there and perform whatever they wanted to do from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And we would come there at 7 a.m. and then set up and then be ready at 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Now, the rented family did not start their program at 6 o'clock. I got there about 7:15. It was then that they were getting ready. There was drumming going on. But we were supposed to be setting up. But apparently, this Anyidoho boy had told his people that they were not going to leave till 12 noon. So that was going to disrupt ours. And that was not going to happen. So we did what we had to do, and then set up our tents, and then make sure that we encouraged them to move away.
I mean, you knew before today when yours was supposed to start. You were communicated that they also had an event there at the time, early in the morning.
Yes, they knew that theirs was supposed to start at 6 and end at 7. And we were supposed to come in at 7 right after they finished for us to start our program from 9 to 11. And then after 11, they could come back and do whatever they wanted to do. But they decided that no, since they didn't start early, they were going to stay there till noon. But that is not fair to us. Yes, anybody could go there and do whatever they wanted to do if they asked for permission. But we had our time. You agreed. The rented family agreed with us. And then why are you changing your mind at this time?
So you directly negotiated this with them directly before today?
Our team negotiated with their team. And that was the understanding that we came to. So when we got there, there was a military people out there, and then there was some police out there. And somebody, the invisible hands behind this rented family, had even told the military that they were intimidating them.
You call them rented family. Koku explains that this is the maternal side.
Say, there is no maternal side. Does he know my family? He only worked for my brother for 6 years, and he seems to know my family better than I. My goodness. He doesn't know my family. What he's doing is he's being used by some invisible hands. He gave those people 200 cities each for them to come out there. Some of them didn't know why they came there.
And how did you come by this information?
Oh, because I asked them.
And they told you that Koku gave them money to be passed there?
He gave them money for them to come. Look, I went to some of the people and asked them why they were doing what they were doing. Because that was a disgrace.
And they told you that Koku gave them money?
they were given money to come out there. There were some invincible hands financing Koku Anyidoho. Look, political power comes with expiration date. Political power comes with expiration date. And there will be a time that political power that you have will expire. When it expires, the tables will turn. That is when you will understand some of the folly you've been going through.
I mean, you talk about political power expiring, but Koku Anyidoho, under his negotiations and ability to lobby, got the Asunjue Park refurbished to this particular state that you currently
My
using
goodness,
to
have you gone to the Asunjue Park?
And remember the man. And he criticizes your own efforts at the time when the NDC wasn't part, that the place was neglected.
Have you been to the Asunjue Park?
Not recently.
You should go there and ask yourself, what is Asunjue Park? Ask those SHS people right now, what is Asunjue Park? And nobody knows the meaning of Asunjue Park. Who is buried out there? You never see it or know it until you get to the grave. When you go there right now, there's a statue over there, and it has the president's name and Koku Anyidoho's name on it.
Because of his efforts to renovate the place. It's a fact that that place was renovated.
Sir, I know you are a very learned person. If you see every statue anywhere in the world, is the name of the person on the statue that is written on it, not the person who erected it. Well, look, he seems to have a personal problem with some people, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. This doesn't make any sense. The people, look at one funny thing. They brought an older lady to the park, and they claimed that she was the mother of Professor Mills. That lady is 80 years old. The woman was close to the grave and saying, Mara number one, that I gave birth to Professor Mills. She's 80 years old. Prof would have been 80 years this week. Does it mean that he has his mother are twins?
Mr. Atta Mills, but more substantively, though, the concern that many have is that it's been 12 years since the passing of the former president, and it appears that this issue about the back and forth between one side and the other side will never go away. At what point will it end?
It's going to end. It started from today. Count on it. My family and I, we are going to stop Koku Anyidoho in any way possible, whether legal, spiritual, physical, or any other way. We are going to stop that guy immediately.
Well, we'll see how that goes. Do we have any timelines as exactly as in when you're going to be doing this that you talk about for this to end once and for all?
Stay tuned.
You're suggesting you're going to be using fair or foul means. Foul means illegality.
I never use foul.
Well,
I never use the word foul.
Or any means you can master.
Any means necessary means any means necessary.
Well, any means
this guy is not a family member. How can he go to Register General's office and register Atta Mills Institute when he's not an Atta Mills person and none of the so-called directors is related to Atta Mills? Can I set up Akufo-Addo Institute without the permission of the president? Can I do that?
Any means necessary could also include illegal means.
Listen, take your definition of it, and I'm going to take my definition of it. And my family and I, we are going to stop this guy in any means possible.
That sounds like a threat.
It's not a threat. It's an invitation for him to stop what he's doing.
If he doesn't
he
stop,
goes around collecting money. That's all he does. I don't care about the money. You can do whatever you want to do with the money.
But what's your evidence, Mr. Atta Mills? What's your evidence?
Thank you. I have so many people who have come to me to tell me that the money that was written for him to support them to build Chief's Palace or something. It came at the wrong time, and I keep on telling them that no, I never wrote that thing.
But if what you're saying is true, that's defrauding individuals. You haven't reported them to the police?
Which police? The police that was aiding him today. You see, when you have somebody who is acting with invincible hands that are connected to other political parties, that's why I told you starting off with that any political power you have comes with an expiration date. And when that expiration date comes, you will not be able to keep on misbehaving the way you are.
Thank you very much. And that there is Samuel Mills. And by the way, it's 12 years exactly. Since the former president died. And I always remember, I don't know where I was when it happened. I always say he died 24/7 because 24th, 7th, 24th July is when he died. And by the way, he shares a birthday with my son, so I know it happens every day. Every year, I sort of remember what happened on that day. I remember I was in the newsroom when the news broke.
When it happened.
And it's, we've just heard there from the family, and the question was asked, when will this end?
At some point, it has to end so that at least the name and the legacy of the late president, at least, will be, protected. But let's do some other stories now here on Newsnight. Many of your messages are coming in. We'll get to take them. But local miners of Atta Songo Lagoon Association have rejected Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee's decision not to allow for renegotiation of Electrochem Ghana Limited's mining lease to allocate more concession to local miners. Well, Parliament in November 2023 constituted a joint committee of mines and energy as well as lands and forestry to look into the salt mining contract awarded to Electrochem Ghana Limited and advised the House on the possibility of allowing the local people mine alongside the company.
Well, there's followed clashes between the company and residents who have accused Electrochem of taking over their livelihood. The committee has concluded its work and has come out with some recommendations. My colleague James Ableji joins me with excerpts of this report. Let's start with the terms of reference of the committee.
Evan, so the committee had, among other things, 3 jobs. One is to review the contract ratified by Parliament on November 6, 2020, to undertake a visit to the Songo Lagoon and finally advise the House on the possibility of renegotiating the contract to leave some portions of the lagoon to the indigenes to continue their small-scale mining.
We'll talk about the recommendations then of that committee.
And so the committee said after speaking to all stakeholders in the issue, they are of the view that there's no legal basis for reviewing the 3 mining leases ratified in Parliament. In fact, the report noted that Electrochem had earlier allocated a 1,000-acre portion out of the 41,000 acres they occupy to the indigenes. So they are only urging Electrochem Ghana to consider allocating some more space to the indigenes in an arrangement that is mutually beneficial to the two sides to further deepen local participation. It goes on to say that to further recommend what it calls a serious security engagement in the communities so the resident quote, disease from any form of lawlessness to pave way for a national undertaking with export benefit to function at full throttle. Again, the chiefs, stakeholders, and the police should educate the indigenes on the fact that Ghana has a stake in Electrochem and its salt mining business in Atta Songo, and any act of lawlessness against the company is a direct confrontation with law enforcement agencies in Ghana, unquote.
And what about the clashes and the deaths recorded?
The committee says the police should continue investigations into the killings and prosecute the perpetrators that will be found culpable.
Well, we can listen to the PRO of the Atta Songo Lagoon Association. Have you been interacting with them? Yeah. What exactly do they disagree when it comes to the recommendations of the committee?
So they are of the view that according to a PNDC law that the then administration put in place to resolve the issue, they declassify salt out of the general minerals that we have, and so give them the right to own that, contrary to the provisions of the Constitution that gives minerals under to the state to oversee. And so they disagree with the committee's report and the recommendations as well.
Yeah, we are disagree with whatever they have done. Whatever, because the second day I went with them and I pointed out clear that all the laws, all the acts that they have mentioned, it does not include the PNDC law. PNDC law became like a savior for us. The PNDC law came since that day they placed the law on the editing. There was no death. There was no shoot bullet out of any gun in Lagoon by hitting anybody or killing anybody.
The committee report.
From the committee, I have not yet received it because they're supposed to give us. And if we have received it and the way you are saying is true, that is what they have said, what it means is that we will be heading towards Supreme Court of the land for interpretation to happen over there because we are not going to agree. If it happened this way, the last sitting when I met them, I told them that I begged them with my God, I begged them with everything. They should look at the thing again and make sure they do just so that we, the people who are living in Atta, who continue to have peace. Atta is one of the whole Ghana. Atta is the most peaceful place. But because of this is what we are facing.
Well, what about Electrochem themselves? We can speak to Abdul Razak Adam, is the CEO of Electrochem Ghana Limited, joins us right now. And Razak Adam, tell me, what's the reaction from your company to these findings?
So as far as we at Electrochem are concerned, we believe that the committee has done a very thorough and a very good job that is in accordance with the law of Ghana. And at the same time, it is the rule of law at the end of the day that must prevail. If you notice that the original concession was vested in that Songo salt project, and this was owned by the government, and government vested it into a management committee, there was no point in time this particular lease has been put in the hands of individuals or indigents. So that being said, it is the government concession that has been privatized to Electrochem to manage it and put in the right investment. And if I may refer you back, we are looking at a concession that is currently underutilized. That was underutilized. The production under concession was only about 2.5% of the potential output. Before Electrochem took over, the concession was only producing under 40,000 metric tons a year. This is projected under Electrochem to go up to 1 million metric tons, and in 2 years, this will be 2 million metric tons. So let me tell you the dollar values associated with these tons that I'm talking about. 1 million metric tons would give us 200 million US dollars. And then 2 million metric tons is 400 million US dollars. Then come back and compare that to cocoa and gold. And you realize that cocoa and gold pale in comparison if we are able to realize the potential.
Well, the numbers
become a destination and a hub for salt in the world.
The numbers may be good, but it has to translate into affecting people's lives. And first of all, the immediate lives of those in the community in which you operate. The committee recommends that you should consider giving out voluntary concessions to these individuals in your community. Will you be doing that?
Absolutely, absolutely. So let me just let my listeners observe that under what we call community pan system. Under the community pan system, Electrochem has already allocated over 1,000 acres to the indigents to do their mining. And that community pan system would continue under organized group, the chiefs, the youth groups, the market women, and other groups that have come. Me as the CEO, for the past 6 months, I have received a lot of applications for community pans, which I have approved. And through that, the indigents continue to mine side by side and coexist with us. The committee recommendation, we will accelerate it. We would increase the allocation of community pans, and we intend to work with every peaceful member of the community to ensure that the indigents continue to mine their salt as they do. Not only would we give them the pans for free, we have invested over 10 million US dollars in brine. That is the salt water that would not only serve Electrochem, but would also serve the community members. But all this will be done under responsible mining, not before when the lagoon was desecrated and turned into a desert in a way that the lagoon was literally not functioning. Environmentally, it was not safe. and all that. So Electrochem coming into being, we have revitalized the lagoon in a way that we don't only see salt producers. We have 1,000 women and men that are now fishing within the lagoon and making livelihood out of that. So our impact on the community is enormous. Not to talk about the schools that we have built, the water, the portable source of water that we've given to every community that is affected. And right now, the biggest festival that is bringing Atta into limelight is Atta Festival. Electrochem is the number one sponsor of that festival, just to make sure that we make the city vibrant. We are creating a chemical university within Atta to ensure that all salt-related byproducts, research is being done there to create employment for the people of Atta. And in Electrochem, I have made it a policy that when we have vacancy and recruitment, unless we can find that is where we go out. And currently, 75% of our employees are all indigenous of Atta. So we believe
Razak, very
Electrochem
quickly,
is
you've
for the
indicated
people of
that on
Atta.
the back of this committee's report, you're going to increase the concessions.
Absolutely, that is the plan.
How much more land size will we be allocating for this purpose?
As much as they need. I can tell you that we have about 43,000 acres, right? That is covering the concession. And right now, Electrochem is only working on less than 7,500 acres. So we believe that there is enough to go around.
Okay. Abdul Razak Adam, thank you very much. He's the CEO of Electrochem Ghana Limited. So listening to News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. I'll return from Business MFI. I'm looking forward to this. The debate before the debate. It is happening on the floor before a potential debate.
And there's a minority debate team, and club and all that. We'll be talking about it.
Yes, we'll be talking about that. You're looking forward to a debate between John Mahama and Baumia?
Yeah. Be bad.
No, it don't be bad
Nice.
at all.
Yeah.
It don't be bad at all. George Afe, what do you make of that?
It should happen. It should happen.
Yeah. Yes, it won't be bad. 24-hour economy against digital economy.
It should only happen when the election headquarters organizes it. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
no other place.
Yeah.
George, what do you have in the headlines?
Well, Evans, coming up, Parliament's budget committee to help check overruns this year as concerns grow over election-related spending affecting the current economic recovery. The government gets $840 million as revenue from crude exports for the first half of this year. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the new Budget Committee of Parliament will work hard to check expenditure that has not been approved by the House in the coming months. Now, that's assurance coming from the chairman of Parliament Finance Committee, Patrick Boama. It follows concerns that the country will once again not escape the election curse because Parliament will fail to exercise its oversight responsibility. But chairman of the Parliament Finance Committee, Patrick Boama, disagrees.
Because of some of these challenges, Parliament, in its wisdom, through the new rules of the House, has set up a budget committee. So that budget committee will have that oversight and ensure that we stay within our budgetary limits and even reduce expenditure. The Finance Committee will complement them, but the overall basis will be to ensure that we stay within our budget numbers.
There's another bit about signaling confidence to the development partners, the creditors, and even within the business community as well. Do you think that this statement that he has laid before the House is addressing those critical concerns?
I believe so, because the business community wants to see a government or the Minister of Finance streamlining a lot of waste in the system, let me put it that way. They also want to see some discipline within all sectors of the economy.
Patrick Boama is chairman of Parliament's Finance Committee. Now, Lands and Forestry Minister Samuel Jinapohas is optimistic of securing Parliament's approval for the lithium mining deal. Now, government has already submitted the agreement between the state and the company working to extract the mineral. However, sections of the public have raised concerns about the deal. The minister says all these concerns have been addressed.
I'm very confident in the arrangements we made with our lithium resources, and I think that the pundits have all now.
I think we're getting a good deal?
We've got a very fantastic deal, and it's been scrutinized over and over again, and I think that what we put together is absolutely in the national interest. We'll be appearing before the Natural Resources Committee of Parliament next week, and the matter is in within the confines of Parliament, and when we come, we will make our case before the committee. And it's my expectation that the House will ratify it. So this project, which is going to unleash hundreds and thousands of jobs in the central region and also bring about a lot of opportunities, economic opportunities for Ghanaian private sector, will take off. And so we will see next.
Lands and Forestry Minister Samuel Jinapor. Now, government has rolled out fresh measures that would help improve revenue and achieved the end-of-year targets. Now, this was captured in the 2024 Media Budget Review presented to Parliament. There is more in this report.
Government is hoping to raise 177 billion cedis in revenue by the end of this year. This is coming after government revised the revenue target for 2024. It also follows fresh data which showed that the revenue numbers are not looking good. But the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, believes that some of these measures will help improve the situation going forward. According to the media budget, government is looking at implementing property tax, deepening engagement with both Ghana Revenue Authority and other stakeholders when it comes to tax collections, and addressing the various loopholes in revenue mobilization. Government also believes that plans by the Ghana Revenue Authority to add more than 2,000 taxpayers on board the VAT electronic system will also help the situation. There are also plans to share data with tax authorities in the country to help zone in foreign nationals evading taxes due the state. Government believes that these measures could go a long way to help improve the revenue situation by the end of this year and help deal with the concerns of donors and external creditors.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, government secured $840 million as revenue from crude exports for the first half of this year. Now, this came in the form of taxes and royalties paid by companies operating on the country's oil fields. Now, this update was captured in the Ghana Petroleum Funds report ending June this year. Now, Talo paid the highest in terms of corporate taxes to the state of $86 million. Now, the 7 oil firms operating on the country's oil fields paid $476 million in the form of corporate taxes to the state. And let's look at some company news where Unilever seen its profit hit 203 million Ghana cedis for the end in June this year, from 179 million Ghana cedis posted in June last year. This was captured in its financial update released to investors on the Ghana Stock Exchange today. And that's all for Business on News Night. Back to you, Evans and
George. Thank you very much. And if a debate happens, the economy will be front and
digital
center.
against 24 hours.
No, that's how you're pitching it already.
Yeah.
Okay. And Ms. Bao is here with sports.
Hello, Evans. Hello, Evans. Well, the Olympic Games, somewhat has started. This is the football event that has started today. Official opening ceremony will take place on Saturday, July 26th. However, in one of the games that did take place today was Morocco versus Argentina, ended chaotically and also very dramatically because Morocco were leading 2-1 as a 90th minute. Then the referee added 15 minutes. And guess what? Argentina equalized on the 16th minute of that added time. Argentina equalized on the 16th minute. And when Argentina equalized...
Even beyond the added time?
Yes, beyond the added time. So when Argentina equalized, the fans invaded the pitch and the game was suspended for 2 hours. And everybody thought the game had ended. And pretty much all the, portals reported the game had ended 2-2. 2 hours later, we understand that the referee returned to the field and said the game had not ended and it had been stopped because of the fans' invasion. And the goal that Argentina scored, VAR checked it, and apparently it was offside.
Extraordinary.
Absolutely extraordinary. And so the Argentine fans were celebrating. They had equalized, late in other time. But after 2 hours,
extraordinary. I need to watch this unfold.
Yeah, Morocco ended up winning it.
I thought I've seen it all in football. There was one case in the EPL where Manchester United scored after the final whistle had been blown.
Yeah.
Because of anybody's like, that's the first time it's happened.
To check the VAR.
But this is 2 hours later.
2 hours later, and the head coach of Argentina, Mascherano, he responded. He said he called it a circus, and even Lionel Messi took to Instagram to react to it, and he said, "Unbelievable." He said, and I don't know if Argentina speak Spanish. say insoleto that should be Spanish somewhat there. Anyway, the Minister for Youth and Sports has been addressing the press earlier today, talking about the youth resource centers that have been abandoned. Well, pictures surfaced of the whole youth resource center, which had been overgrown with weeds, and a few others, with protests even held in Exim over the facilities abandonment. Well, the minister says that the facilities abandonment is largely due to financial constraint. However, he's assuring that he will try and get some funds released for the facilities to be completed.
We had challenges with some of them, and I must admit, with regards to payment to the contractors. But because the contractors have not handed over the project to us, you can't go and use it because we have not commissioned them. The challenges has to do with payment of their certificates, but we are working very hard to make sure that they get their payment and they can go back and complete them for us to put them to good use.
Yeah, so that's the Sports Minister, Mustafa Usif, there on the Youth Resource Centres. Well, Evans, we've got a show tonight on Joy Prime, 9 p.m. We're previewing the Olympic Games that is set to start in 2 days from now. We're going to be talking about Ghana's athletes there. Azamati, we have the 4x100 team who will be competing. Azamati will be competing in the 100 meters. We have Saminu who will be competing in the 100 meters and the 200 meters. So we've got some swimmers there. And, one high jumper, Deborah Rose Yabora rather, will be competing in the high jump. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to that. But very instructively though is that for the first time in a long time, you're not going to have boxers at the Olympic Games. And Ghana's only medal, in fact most medal, we've won 4. Ghana
I come through boxing.
Exactly, boxing has given us 4 of the medals from the Olympic Games. So it's really surprising not seen boxers at the Olympic Games. So 9 p.m. Joy Prime, we're previewing all of it. And
Fencho
we can
is
all
there
make a day.
for us.
Yes, Fencho has arrived in France to report on the Olympic Games.
Thank you very much.
You want to catch that also live on all our social media platforms. Let's head to Parliament now and maybe try to settle that controversy when it comes to the
debate or not to
debates.
debate.
Exactly. So the leadership of both the majority and minority, they've clashed over the subject of a presidential debate going into the 2024 election. Well, the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, we know, has on a number of occasions challenged the NDC flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, to a debate. While speaking in Parliament today, the majority leader, Alexander Fenyomarking, also threw a challenge to the NDC MPs to advise their leader to square off in a presidential debate if he's truly serious about returning to the presidency.
It is important that your MPs should not just follow your flag bearer. They should encourage your flag bearer to make himself available for a debate with Dr. Bawumia. Because you are, Mr. Speaker, in this election, we should make available fact to Ghanaians. And I would encourage us as parliamentarians to urge upon our flag bearers to avail themselves for a debate. We need a debate. The way we debate in this chamber, Mr. Speaker, is very important. And this is a call I'm making as a leader of the House, that let us encourage debate so that the name calling, the insinuation, the toxic nature of the political space could be brought down.
So that was the challenge. I'm sure you're curious about hearing what the minority's response is. First, there were 2 responses, and in fact 3 responses, followed by, after the 2 on the floor, there was a press conference following that. First, let's hear the minority chief whip, Kwame Governs Abuja. He says that Dr. Bawumia should first subject himself to questions by journalists instead of calling for a debate.
As for the debate out there, I'm sure the unemployed want to debate Dr. Bawumia. People clearing goods, paying 20 different taxes at the port, would like to debate him. So actually, the people who really want to debate him are out there. They should debate the people of this country. President Mahama is just one individual. Debate the millions of people who are struggling under the hands of Vice President, and then we'll get there. In any case, I am not aware that anybody has invited anybody to a debate and the person has decided not to come.
Well, so that was the immediate response. Matt, let's take you to Parliament now. Koku Asante has all the lowdown on this particular issue. So, Koku, there was a further response from the minority leader himself. What was it?
Yes, MFA, according to Dr. Kasia Latofosin,
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is not the level of John Dramani Mahama. In fact, he refers to the allusion made by the Vice President that he's a driver's mate and says an inexperienced driver's mate cannot debate an experienced driver.
The Speaker, monkeys, they say, play by sizes. The Speaker, how can a driver mate debate an experienced driver? Mr. Speaker, in this House, the spokesperson for the minority on the issues of finance is Honorable Adongo. The spokesperson for the minority for the issues of the economy is Honorable Koku Anyidoho. And the spokesperson for the budget for the minority is Honorable Ampemdako. Mr. Speaker, we all know that the chairman of the economic management team is the vice president. So the vice president can only debate Honorable Adongo. He should debate Honorable Adongo or debate Honorable Koku Anyidoho. A driver mate cannot debate an experienced driver. No. Mr. Speaker, that is the fact. So we throw at the challenge. He should debate Honorable Adongo first, Honorable Ampem second, and Honorable Koku Anyidoho third, before he could consider debating President Mahama. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That is the answer. He should go and debate him first.
Well, so Kweku, that was not all. We know that it was followed by a press conference by the minority. They are outlining certain issues that they are hoping that the Vice President will address. Let's go through them.
Yes, Evan, MFI and Evans, we've been hearing from Ahmed Ibrahim, who is the first deputy minority whip, who says that, in fact, tomorrow, as MPs begin to debate the media budget review statement the minister presented only yesterday, he expects the Vice President to stop campaigning and come to Parliament and debate with MPs.
The NDC minority in Parliament is inviting Vice President Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia to participate in the debate on the media fiscal policy review of 24 on the budget which was presented to us yesterday. The budget statement and economic policy is scheduled to take place tomorrow, and that the debate will take place tomorrow. So we are calling on His Excellency the Vice President to join the debate. The debate begins on Thursday, 25th July 2024 in the Parliamentary Chamber at 10 o'clock in the forenoon. The minority is extending the public invitation to the Vice President, giving his notice as giving his role as chairman of the economic management team of the government. Parliamentary rules permit a sitting Vice President to participate in debate on the floor of the House, and this is stated in Article 110 of the 1992 Constitution. And this is a copy of the Constitution. So if you open Article 110, it says that the Vice President, a sitting Vice President, is permitted to take place on the debate on the floor.
And Kweku, the minority, they've been listing for us the members of their debating team.
Yes, Evans, you heard Dr. Kesela mention some names, but they provided a further name. They said they have George Koku Anyidoho, they have the Honorable Isaac Adongo, they have Honorable Thomas Ampemdako, they have Honorable John Abdullah Ejinapo, they have Honorable Eric Opoku, Honorable Ladi Ayi Ayamba, and Honorable Joseph Bukari Nikwe. This is their team to face off with Dr. Bawumia if he dares land on the floor of Parliament tomorrow to participate in this debate.
About 35% of the Ghanaian youth are unemployed, the highest in the Fourth Republic. This has never happened before. So tomorrow when he comes and we debate, we'll find an antidote to all this. This is what Ghanaians want to hear, and the Constitution has given him that opportunity. So he should not just go and stand somewhere and be saying somebody should come for debate. Ghanaians are in Parliament, and the Ghanaians are those who gave him the opportunity. So he must come and debate Ghanaians on the floor of Parliament tomorrow. So the NDC minority fund is believing that Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia still has the audacity to call for a debate on the economy. And if he does, we are creating that opportunity for him. Despite his poor economic performance, he says debate will solve the problem. So we are waiting for him. That notwithstanding, the NDC minority has lined up a crack team. So tomorrow when he comes, he must know the people he's coming to debate with. A crack team of debaters for a showdown. And the following are they. Honorable Koku Anyidoho is the chairman of the Committee on Economy and Development. So we'll debate the economy proper. Honorable Isaac Adongo, he's the ranking member on finance. So the debate is going to be on finance and economy. So Mahmoud Bawumia should know the people he's coming to face. Honorable Thomas Ampinyaku, and he's the chairman of the budget committee. So they just represented the budget and we are debating it. So he must come along that line. Honorable John Ablai Dinapo, and he's the ranking member on the Committee of Energy, also member of the Finance Committee. Honorable Eric Opoku, and he's the ranking member. He's the ranking member on Food, Agriculture, and Cocoa Affairs, and member of the Committee on Economy and Development.
And that is a debating club, yes. The NDC Minority Debaters Club.
Yes.
Interesting. This is your election headquarters. And your election headquarters is always brought to you by Petrosol Clean Fuel in Full Quantity, CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, AICPA, and CIMA together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, Chalkboard Technologies, a convenient service, and Youthbridge Foundation. And guess what? Today, the vice presidential candidate, the running mate to Dr. Bawumia, has been touring, and my colleague Samuel Mbura has been traveling with him. Where has he been and what has he been saying, Samuel?
Yeah, hello, Evans, can you hear me?
I can. Where has he been? What has he been saying?
Hello, Evans. If you could say that again, I'll be grateful. I didn't hear that.
What has he been saying?
Well, so Dr. Michael Koku Prempe's tour is to familiarize himself with the traditional authorities. As he said, they are the major stakeholders as far as his leadership is concerned. So basically, he's meeting the traditional leaders, assuring them that he and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, given the opportunity, will transform Ghana. And then he's reaffirming that is someone and someone who will be accessible by all if he's given the opportunity. So basically, he's propagating the agenda of the MPP if they are given the opportunity to govern the country in 2025 onwards, and also what he's capable of doing.
Why is this man everywhere he goes, he comes from there? Because we are one people. We are one people. But truly, and that is my hope. And you see, people hesitate in calling me Napo. I started being called Napo from the age of 4 because I was called Napo. And we couldn't say it, my cousins couldn't say it, so we became Napo. Napo was Napo when I went to primary school. Teachers called me Napo. My friends called me Napo. Napo has become so much so that in my own house, when some nurses came to look for me, to give me a donation, and they met my brother, and they said Dr. Prempe, they said there's no Dr. Prempe in this house. They actually went and came back and said, are you going to resemble him? He said, brother, put a walk.
And that there is Matthew Opoku Prempe, Doctor, a.k.a.
Napo. Well, he says it points to his humility, and it's time for us to get out of here, and it's time for the strong and the sassy Noella.
Yeah.
Is in. What are we talking about
So
tonight?
we are having a conversation with a phenomenal woman who is widely known for her philanthropic work, but we're not going to zoom too much into that. We're going to look at the person she is, beyond that philanthropic nature of her, and it's going to be raw, unfiltered, and candid. So it's something you don't want to miss out.
Right?
Yeah, very raw.
Well, we're still celebrating
like
impact
Evans likes
makers. And you want to stay for Noella. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am MFAPA. Evans.
And my name is Evans Mensa. Enjoy the rest of your evening.